This week, Barron's launches our inaugural list of the 100 most influential women in finance. One of those honorees is in the thick of the wild action on Wall Street, Stacey Cunningham, president of the New York Stock Exchange. As businesses across the country prepare coronavirus contingency plans, I asked Cunningham, what happens if the exchange decides traders should stay home? Would the floor of the New York Stock Exchange ever shut down due to something like coronavirus? And if it did, could it still operate?
One of the things that we have to focus on is being prepared for any condition. And so we have scenarios that we're ready to roll out and implement at any point in time. So is it a possible scenario that the floor could close? Yes, and we're prepared for that. It's something we test every quarter. Coincidentally, we actually have a test on Saturday to prepare for any of our market participants to be able to interact remotely if needed.
During these volatile weeks, I haven't heard of any glitches on the floor of the New York Stock Exchange. In past decades, that has happened at moments of high volatility. What are you doing right?
It's so important for us to make sure that technology can scale with market conditions. I think a lot of people don't realize how much messaging we process here at the exchange, and it's more than any other exchange in the world. Volatility is a time when investors tend to get a little bit jittery, and we want to make sure that we can maintain that confidence. Markets aren't always going to go up, but they need to always work. And so we've built out a state-of-the-art platform that makes sure our customers are getting exactly the same type of experience, every time they send an order to us, it takes the same amount of time to get to us and back to them so that they know the markets are operating the way they're supposed to.
Let me ask you about another very different change over time on the floor of the New York Stock Exchange. When you were on the floor as a specialist, there were not very many women in that world, and still it's very much a male-dominated industry. What do you tell young women who want to get into finance?
Yeah, I think it's really important anytime you are part of a male-dominated industry to be yourself. What makes you different is what makes you even more unique and more special to an organization. Diversity is so important in a business, not just because it's an important word, a buzzword in the industry, but because it actually makes the business stronger to have diversity of thought. So don't try to fit in, play your own game.
So you have a really interesting perch up here. You speak to CEOs
Literally.
and investors, exactly, all the time, but also from your perch up here, you see tick-by-tick trades. I mean, you know what the VIX is because all the options are traded here. So what do you think, what's the market telling you now?
I think the market is digesting a lot of news, and there's been a combination both of what people are consuming about the virus as well as the election cycle, and anytime there's uncertainty in the market, that's typically when the market really reacts, and we are at unprecedented uncertain times. I will say I have lived through uncertain environments in the market. I worked on the floor as a trader for many years. We get through the other side, right? And so you've learned, you build that resiliency, and you realize you got to stay calm because that's really the most important part of navigating on uncertain waters.
Causation changes, but this time is not different.
Yeah, it's not, and over time the market starts in the lower corner of the chart and moves to the upper right, and it's just not a straight line.
Now, some companies these days aren't going for the liquid markets as early as they used to. We're seeing this trend where they're staying private so much longer, amassing these massive valuations, and then sometimes when they come to the public markets, it doesn't work out for them. What's your thought on that trend?
Jack, I think it's a really important issue, and I don't think we can overstate how important it is, because by companies staying private longer, they're limiting access to investors to have opportunities to the fastest growing companies. They are leading to valuations that aren't based on buyers and sellers coming together in a real liquid environment. So they're not actually representative of the value of a company. And they're also, they're also allowing, there's a lack of discipline and governance in private companies that the public markets just demand. So I think those three things are really contributing to what we're seeing in a bifurcation of wealth in this nation. And so I don't think we should take that too lightly, and we need to make sure that we're opening up all of our investment opportunities to all investors.
You once actually described it as capitalism needing a tune-up.
Yeah, I think so, because I'm a capitalist, and I think that this has been the engine that has really powered the growth of this nation for 228 years, and yet we want to make sure that we maintain some of its core principles. It's a story of shared success. We need to make sure we're sharing that success with everyone, and not letting the private markets become too much of the success part of that story.
One newish way of going public is a direct listing. Well, what do you think of that?
One of the best things about a direct listing is it's open to everyone at the same time, right? There is no artificial constraint. on what that price is.
The insiders aren't getting that
if you think about an IPO, at the night before, when that initial public offering is happening, there's only a subset of investors that are part of that process, and they're actually not even able to buy as much as they want to. They might only receive a reduced allocation. And then the next day, there are restrictions on who can sell if they're locked up. So a direct listing really takes away all of those artificial constraints and allows buyers and sellers to set the price, and that's price discovery at its finest.
So you sound very optimistic. Is there anything that keeps you up at night?
I've been in this business for a long time, and so you know how to power through periods of stress. And listen, I certainly am very sympathetic to markets going up and going down and recognizing that there's a lot of risk there. My job is to think about what's around the corner and how do we prepare for that, and that's certainly what I do.
Well, good luck with that.
Thank you, Jack.
Thanks, Stacey.